Okay. Three, two, one.
It's okay. We're just getting started. Welcome, all you sexual deviants.
Hey. Hey, do you have dental insurance?
I used to. And then I went to the dentist last time I was home, and they were like, "You don't have dental insurance." And I said, "Okay." And then I paid for it out of pocket, which was a nice surprise.
How much was it?
Like $200.
To teeth
No,
clean?
like $150.
For a teeth cleaning?
And I chipped my tooth, and they fixed that up a little bit.
And $150 for the whole kit and caboodle?
Mm-hmm.
How much? I think I have a cavity. And
That might be a little bit more expensive.
Yeah. And I thought I had dental insurance.
And
I got a note in the mail and it was like, you don't. Like, you didn't make a payment. And I was like, it's not because I didn't make a payment because I'm like broke. I mean, I am broke, but it's like 20,
but you would have paid it.
It was $20. And I thought I paid it. Like, I remember like going on and like making the payment. And then I got a thing. It's like, yeah, you didn't pay it. So now you can't enroll and our enrollment period is closed.
Yeah. Why don't you like auto pay for things like this?
That's fine. All right. Okay. I know what you're going to say.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm curious why you don't like auto pay for things.
Well, to be honest, if I have auto pay, I will overdraft my account. Like, I can't have everything like just doing it when it's due because things change. Like from if it's like the 28th, it ends up being on like a Thursday. Oh no, excuse me, on like a Sunday, and so things go through like the Friday prior or something like that. I gotta know when I'm making the payments.
Gotcha.
Because I gotta move some funds. You know, I
Yes.
gotta check the Venmo, make sure there's no Venmo money that I gotta transfer over.
The
That's
free,
three, that's 3 to 5.
The free money.
Yeah, and that's 3 to 5 days, business days. So
Any
I gotta be in control.
Any emergency immediate transfer in the last 6 months?
Last week, bro. Last week.
Immediate transfer 5% or what is it? 10%?
No,
5%?
not even.
1%. Oh, that was my shit. I remember one time when I was going to Atlanta, or when I was in Atlanta, and then we did the last minute trip to come out here to LA. I went to go to. Oh no, never
You
mind.
got it,
I remember.
dude. Come on.
I remember.
Jesus
I'm sorry.
fucking
I'm sorry.
Do you?
I was
think-
in Philly.
Do
I
you
was in
consider
Philly.
yourself a good storyteller?
I no. Short answer, no. I'm sorry. I was going to Atlanta for Thanksgiving. I was in Philly. My flight was already paid for, and I had a bag that was soft, but it was
Dude,
big.
You
And
pick the
they
weirdest fucking details in your stories. No
told-
one gives a fuck about your bag that's soft.
But that's the thing. I was trying to use it as a carry-on, and usually if your bag is too big to fit into the carry-on thing and it's soft, they don't give a fuck.
You can just stuff.
But the guy was in a bad mood, and he's like, "This is too big." I said, "Fuck you." And then he said, "Well, you have to pay to check this bag. It's $50." And I had to call my mom and get her to send me $50, and I had to do the instant transfer and pay for the fucking bag at like 7 in the morning.
Yeah, but
fly
that's
to
but
Atlanta.
like honestly, the only reason you had to do that is because you didn't have a credit card yet, because you were too young. Just get a credit card. That's what
That's true.
That's what credit cards are for. Well, that's not what they're for. But but
That's what they're for when they're us.
yeah, when you're super broke, that can be your fucking thing. Yeah.
Anyway, that was fun. Speaking of cavities,
Yeah, dude.
David made peach tea.
You know how like everyone's got like the one thing that they make?
Yeah.
This is gonna be my thing because it's good as fuck. The key, I didn't do it with this one, so it's a little more reminiscent of like normal sweet tea. But if you get the packets of yerba,
Don't tell. Oh, you told him. You gotta have your secrets, bro.
oh. Yeah, because I'm selling. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, all right, never mind. Maybe I'll bleep it out.
It's your secret
Beep.
recipe.
Yeah, don't worry about what I use. Anyway, Whoa, what the fuck? Sorry. Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. Today, we're going to be discussing Karl's storytelling techniques.
No,
And
it's okay. I know it's not great.
do you realize that, like...
I just, get lost in my own thoughts.
I know you do.
It's
I can
bad.
watch you relive your story in your head because you...
Yeah, it's bad.
Because you say details that don't matter.
I know. At least I know. I just can't help it. It's bad.
What
Yeah,
if-
I try to. Having a podcast is rough because generally in conversations I try to avoid telling stories as much as possible.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh.
You just always notice it because you're like, great, here he goes.
Here we go.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right, what's worse? I have both of these friends. Coincidentally enough, I live with both of them. But what's worse to you guys at home? Somebody who can't tell a story, Karl, or someone who's really good at telling a story, but he's got like 5 and he tells them every time you meet new people. What's worse?
The other guy that's not me.
I've got a hard...
Hey.
Do you want to hear about the time I stole a boat?
So I got some hard music suggestions this week.
Hard? Cool.
Like, I don't know why I used the word hard.
Because it goes hard, right?
It does go hard. Shout out to Noah Dunn for showing me this band, but I kind of knew them, and then technically it was Colton who showed Noah. Anyway, Black Midi. Boom, boom, boom. BM, BM, BM. Bowel movement, bowel movement, bowel movement.
I'm pretty
by
sure
Black
it probably stands for Black Midi, Black Midi, Black Midi, but sure.
Yeah.
That song
goes
rocks.
fucking hard. She moved with a purpose. It's fucking sick. What a weird band. I feel like they would be bigger if they had a less confusing name. You know?
Yeah.
Because for anybody who doesn't know, Black Midi is like a genre of visual / musical art. MIDI is like, they do the piano rolls, right? It's like a piano. It's kind of like Guitar Hero. You know how Guitar Hero, like, it would come up as like that, but a piano. And like Black Midi is like using that medium to create visual art, if that's making sense.
And it's kind of spammy and crazy a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Like,
Karl's editing the pod this week, so he's going to put up a little video right here of Black Midi. This is what Black Midi is. And then what I'm talking about is the band Black Midi, but it's also a musical term, so I think it's like really confusing. I know, just finding it, it's whatever. So I think they'd be a lot bigger if they had a better or more searchable name. But they're fucking awesome. This song specifically is really cool. And then my second music suggestion for this week is called GSK by Squid.
What the fuck? Did Justine tell you about Squid?
Yeah, she just told me about it this morning.
Justine?
Was this your music suggestion?
Yeah. What the fuck? This is fucked up.
That's funny. Yeah. It's like if the Talking Heads, I know King Gizzard has a lot of like Talking Heads influence, but it's like if King Gizzard was like, we're gonna do like some more Talking Heads shit, right? Would you agree with that sentiment?
Mm-hmm. I didn't get to listen to a ton of them because I found them the other night and I was just listening to like a bunch of songs, like snippets of songs, and I was like, all right,
I just listened to the one song.
These guys are sick. And I was in your room and Justine was there.
Maybe this is why I think I have cavities. The fucking bowl of candy.
Yeah. Well, now
Happy
it's
Easter.
mostly just a bowl of wrappers now, but
You like Three Musketeers?
no.
Neither do I. I'm eating one right now, but it kind of sucks.
So I also, the same night that David found out about that Black Midi song was the same night I found out about it. Loved that. It's cool. And then I showed David Squid through the transitive property yesterday. And then, so I can't say either of those. There's this other band, Shame, that's fucking sick.
Dude, like right now, the chocolate is like coating my teeth,
And it hurts.
and it like hurts my teeth. That means cavity, right?
Could be.
What else could it mean?
I don't know. You might just be having some sensitivity for some reason.
It's
Maybe
not hot or
you're
cold.
Maybe, yeah, cavities.
Can I go on a quick splurge about cavities?
Colin wants to do a quick splurge about cavities. I don't know what's about to happen.
Yeah, come on. It's here. Take a seat. Why don't you?
So before I moved out here,
I haven't heard this story. Colin's the one who tells the same stories over and over again, but I haven't heard this one.
Before I moved out here, I went to the dentist, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, my tooth hurts. And she's like, yeah, I'll take a look at it. And then, it's after, like, they grind your fucking teeth to death. They're like, yeah, you have like a very tiny cavity, and we'll get it filled the next time you come in. I'm like, okay. And then I moved to Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back a year later, and I'm like, my tooth doesn't hurt at all. Or, like, it doesn't, like, that one day it felt weird. And then I come back, and they're like, yeah, you have, like, the most idiot-bitty cavity, and we'll fill it the next time you come back. I'm like, okay. And then I went back to Los Angeles, and I'm like, I don't have a fucking cavity. These fuckers are just trying to get me to fill my tooth.
Yeah, I bet they are.
It's Big Tooth Company.
It is Big
It's
Tooth.
It's Big Teeth.
It's Big Teeth.
It's fucking.
Big Tooth
Stupid.
is coming for you.
It's Big Tooth Man, bro.
It's the Big Tooth
It's the
Man.
Big Tooth Man.
Dude, that happened to Justine, my girlfriend. She had some tooth problems, and we went to a fucking place in Sherman Oaks, which is like a nice, bougie, fucking rich neighborhood in Los Angeles. Thinking like, yeah, we'll get good service there. And it was, everybody in the office was bursting at the seams with lip filler and fucking plastic surgery, which, whatever, get your plastic surgery, it is what it is. But it's just indicative of what they were doing, which was like trying to reconstruct Justine's whole fucking face just because she had like a little bit of tooth pain. And they're like, yeah, you're fucked. You're going to need this. You need this. You got like 27 cavities. And she's like, whoa, what the fuck? And I was like, fuck that. Similar to a car. If they tell you the car is fucked, get a second opinion. So we went and got a second opinion. And they're like, no, you have no cavities. You're fine. And that's really, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's fucked up that
A lot of the times, I mean, I've had this.
They're fucking with your
The same
your
thing
teeth.
the same thing that happened to Colin has happened to me a few times, where it's like, a lot of the times your dentist won't explain it to you, which is fucked. But like, if you have a really, really small cavity, it can heal. It's just when it starts to really decay, that's when they have to clear it out and fill it. So if you catch it early and you fucking floss your tooties and you're a really good boy and the tooth fairy comes, then you can avoid it being a problem, which is probably what Colin ended up doing.
Have you ever gotten a cavity filled?
Absolutely.
Really? I've never done it.
Really?
Wait.
You've never had any cavities
No.
before?
Maybe recently, like in the past 3 years, I might have had one.
I've had some cavities filled over the years.
Yeah? How is it?
It's fine. They numb you up.
Why is like in cartoons when we were kids, why I remember like cavities being like horrible?
To try and encourage us to brush and floss our teeth.
How often do you floss?
Not often enough.
Yeah.
Not often enough. I'll tell you. It's
Fuck.
bad. It hurts.
It hurts you to floss?
Well, my teeth are really crooked. So that's like, it's really rough in the parts where they're like jammed up.
Did you ever have braces?
Yeah.
I don't remember you having them.
Yeah.
When?
In middle school. Remember how I always had orthodontist appointments?
Oh, yeah. I swear to God. For those of you who don't know, Karl and I have known each other for a very long time. Like I met Karl when I was about 12. We're 25 and 26 now. So,
Half our lives. Wow.
well, hey,
Cheers.
cheers.
We nursed our friendship, David, like you said before the pod.
Anyway, I just remember very specifically in middle school, like I swear to God, anytime you would ask, this is stupid. No one wants to hear this. But anyway, I'm going to tell you. Karl, I swear to God, like just no matter what, you'd be like, Karl, you want to hang out after school? And Karl would be like, I can't. I have an orthodontist appointment. It just felt like every single. See, that was stupid. Moving on. Let's talk about
the reason my teeth are crooked are because my orthodontist got cancer and retired early, and then his replacement were like, "You're good. Let's take these puppies off." And I was like, "I was supposed to have them on for another 8 months." He's like, "Nope, you're good. We'll take them off." And then they started shifting back rapidly.
What do you got to do to be an orthodontist compared to a dentist?
Go to school.
I know you have, but you have to go to school to be a dentist.
Different school.
More school or different school?
I don't know. More? Different.
It feels like it should be more, but I think it might just be different. I don't know.
I suspect you may be right. What a podcast this one is.
Talking about big teeth. Big teeth trying to keep me down. Boo, big teeth.
It's a industry of financial predators.
Yeah.
In Wales.
Is it? Would you go big
Cunts.
teeth or would you call it big tooth?
Big tooth. I don't know.
Big pharma. Big. I think it's big tooth.
Big orthodontics.
Anyway, James Blake recently had an announcement. I think Carl, we would save this conversation, so I don't know what Carl's opinions are. But James Blake recently made an announcement. So a couple weeks ago, he went viral on TikTok or Instagram, but it was just like screenshots of his tweets or his exes or whatever you call them. Basically, he was ranting about the modern era of music promotion specifically. And he talks about his beef with TikTok and the algorithms and saying his overarching point, I'm paraphrasing here, is that it's difficult to just be an artist and to make truly, just true art. And also keeping in mind like how to promote your music and like constantly being on TikTok and like making fucking like dancey shit, whatever. It's the narrative. A lot of people talk about it. I've seen a lot of things like, you guys think Tom York, lead singer of Radiohead, if he was born when we were born, like, do you think he'd be on TikTok like, guys, I just made the song of the summer, So that's the narrative these days, is how do you find the balance between music promotion and artistry, right? And that's what James Blake was talking about and saying it was unsustainable because these platforms don't really pay that well. So you have to play the numbers game in order to get livable and sustainable income.
A point that he made over and over again is just like, your music is not enough. It's extremely undervalued. And it also sets a precedent for the quality of music not needing to really be there, because that's not really what its purpose is anymore. Because you have to do so much, like you said, you have to have like a higher quantity, and you have to do so much more to try and make it a sustainable thing.
So he followed that up with very recently, right after that kind of had a little viral thing, about partnering with a company called Volt.fm. And Vault.
Vault.
Yeah,
VAULT.
Is that? Do
Vault.
I say? I know it's Vault, but like I say Volt all the time. Is that a speech impediment, or is that a Philadelphia accent thing?
You do you, bro. I don't know. No idea. Vault. It's a.
I keep discovering that I have accent.
It's a new streaming platform of sorts, where
it's like Patreon.
It's music Patreon. That's all.
It's music Patreon.
Mm-hmm. It's
plain as day. You pay $5 a month. James Blake is
music
using
only fans.
Yeah, James Blake. He put up a couple. I went on it. Also, I don't know if it's just the worst website ever, and I just can't find anybody else. But I'm pretty sure James Blake is the only person on the website, which is
nice.
So yeah, right. You pay $5 a month, and then you get access to these unreleased songs, premium tier content for a. You good?
Yeah, we're fine.
Why don't you just hit it? Why don't you just do it real quick? Sorry, guys. Hang on. So, James Blake.
James Blake's the only person on the thing.
Yeah, so
It might not be public. It might not be a public thing yet. It might just be a teaser for just what it's going to be, and they're using James Blake's music.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So basically, what it is, right? Premium content behind a paywall, just like OnlyFans, just like Patreon, right? I think this one is specifically to music streaming. So that being said, I think they're already off to a bad start. I'm not gonna lie, because it's a website, not an app.
Yeah, that's a little rough. For
Yeah.
sure.
So I don't know
that
when the last time
that
you.
must be in the plan.
I'm
like,
sure it is. Apparently,
right?
it came. I mean, James Blake made a little video and he said he's like, this happened very fast. Like, we're gonna update it as we go. But I went on it and I was like, let me take a little look around. Couldn't find anybody except for James Blake. He's got like 4 or 5 unreleased songs on there. And then I was like, I'm an artist. Let me see what happens. Let me sign up. You have to be approved.
Cool.
I don't know if it's cool.
No, I mean, yeah, it's weird. It's kind of a little bit shitty,
It's
given that it's supposed to be all about like
independent artists.
being an
and-
accessible thing for people to. Yeah.
yeah.
Also, like, what is the grounds to be approved? Did
I
you
don't know.
See that?
They could just be, honestly, I'll give them a quick out. They could just be waiting. They might not have the back end capability to like run a whole essentially social media platform. They might need to build it first.
Yeah.
And so they might just be like putting everybody on hold through this like approval process. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I
What do
saw
you think?
he posted another thing today, right before we started the pod, actually, where he was talking about it's not just about raising the value of the music back up, and also like giving independent artists a new platform to to try and be successful on, but also that he finds all of the streaming platforms algorithms to be really corrupt, and that like that music culture is changed for the worse by the fact that what songs we choose to pick on albums are affected by what we think the streaming numbers can be or how well they can be playlisted and all that.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Listen, I love James Blake and I agree with what he's saying, but that's kind of I know you're paraphrasing, but that's always been the case. That is always been the case. And you're telling me that in the past no one thought about radio singles?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I thought it was a little bit silly. I was like, but also it's like,
It's the same beef that
but
everyone's had with
it's also kind of bullshit, because for every artist that you think is a sellout that only puts out the singles that they think are going to get the most streams, there's a equal artist that is not doing that and is also successful putting out whatever the music is that they want to be putting out. You know what I mean?
I think the problem
And James Blake is talking from the perspective of an artist that makes pretty odd music at times, and is
Odd in
also
a good way.
and is also a major label signee. So it's like,
I bet he has a real problem. I bet his there's probably a big disconnect between the music that James makes and like where he's at, because he's like you said, the music he makes is not like, it's not pop music, but he's a really talented producer. So then he got into like the hip hop world,
yeah,
and now is like in the light of like a pop artist, but making less orthodox music. So I bet his day to day that this dilemma probably takes up a lot of space in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, I just said it before, I think it's a little bit silly to be like, oh, now you have to like worry about what's going to stream well. You've always had to worry about what's going to get good numbers. Arguably, you had to worry about it more in the past, because guess what?
When you were selling physicals, you know,
Selling
what I mean?
physicals, and also when the only medium was the radio.
Yeah,
There was literal gatekeepers that you had to please.
yeah,
I think I understand there's problems with the music industry, and when you talk about maybe like money, I think there's a lot less money going around, but also it's not necessarily it's the graph that everyone talks about, that where there used to be like 10 artists, and those 10 artists got all the money. Now there's 1,000 artists, and there's still a similar amount of money, and it's just spread out between those people, if that makes sense. I think now I understand there's problems in the music industry. I understand people aren't getting paid. Fuck, I'm broke as shit beginning of the podcast. I'm bouncing checks left and right.
Subscribe.
But we live in the greatest time when it comes to music discovery. How many fucking bands do you see on Spotify with 100,000 monthly listeners? How many bands have you never heard of that you come across and you're like, they're on tour and they have albums out and millions of monthly listeners, and you've never heard of them ever?
Yeah.
The amount of people who have the capability to get a fan base is incredible. Now, to James Blake's point, with things like YouTube, podcasting, and other mediums like that, they have Patreon, right? And things like that. They have figured, because they've been independent a little bit longer, they've figured out how to monetize and be self-sufficient. So I do think that as musicians, we should rack our brains and figure out how to monetize independently from the thing, from like the machine.
I mean, it could be cool. I don't think it's going to I don't think it's going to change anything. Like,
I'll tell you what it's going to do.
musicians are still going to be fucking broke. And, you know, the person that's going to benefit most from it is when Kanye decides to put an album on just the vault, and that's it. You know what I mean?
I don't think the vault's going to exist in 6 months. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Spotify is going to, you know how there was Patreon and then YouTube decided to do a subscription within YouTube? Like you can pay. They basically have like a Patreon tab now.
They do?
Yeah, and so does like
to subscribe for like channels, extra shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had it at one point. I don't know if they do.
I've never seen it, but
it's not that popular. But, and I'm pretty sure, I thought Instagram had something like that.
But Patreon's huge. So what's your point? In spite of those things,
I think Spotify is just gonna do it. I think Spotify is just gonna put a section where you can like get access to premium content within Spotify.
Maybe. I don't know. I doubt it.
Why do you doubt it?
Because I don't think that Spotify is going to allow the freedom for artists to set their own prices for those sort of things. And I don't think artists will want to give Spotify a cut of it. Like, I mean, I'm sure that's how Patreon and OnlyFans make their money too. But I feel like a third-party thing was probably going to be
the only problem with that.
Something that
the
people will
only
respond.
problem with that is that when people are listening to music, I think the value of having all of your music in one place is very high.
That's true.
I think I would love to be able to hear unreleased music, and I might pay for $5 to have James Blake's unreleased music. But if I can't put that shit in a playlist with the rest of James Blake's music, and not just James Blake, other artists that I also like, you know what I mean? Like if I can't take those unreleased songs and put them in one of my playlists with all of my artists or something like that, I don't think it's worth it. Every time I want to listen to that song.
That's how Patreon works right now. Like if you listen to a podcast, you have to open up Patreon to listen to the Patreon episodes.
But it's different because a podcast is at least 30-minute thing.
Yeah, that's true.
This song is 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Fair points, Mr. Loving. Checkmate.
Checkmate, bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think it's a good idea, and I think that I also think, and listen, I'm gonna say this. Fuck, maybe I shouldn't say it. That usually means I should say it. I'm gonna say this, and I say this because I'm a musician. All of my friends are musician. Karl's a musician. I've been a musician my whole life. Everyone that I'm friends with and have always been around is a musician, and I say this with love. Musicians are the fucking worst.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Like
I think you've said that on here before.
Oh, okay. Well, then we suck, dude. Like we are such babies when it comes to fucking like. No, I don't want to do TikTok. I don't want to do TikTok. I don't want to do TikTok. Just do it. You just have to do it. I don't know. I think there's a lot of necessary evils that I understand. It like sucks, but like if you have to, let's say you want to do TikTok, right? We're doing this thing. I don't want to do TikTok, so we do a podcast instead because I actually enjoy it. right? It's not.
And then you talk about things that you care about, and then a video of you talking about a fucking leprechaun blows up for no reason.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But my point is like, if you don't like making TikToks, you don't have to make. Did I just make the song in the summer? You have to just put in a little bit of extra effort and find what you can like live with yourself that you've made, right? You have to make TikToks where you're not like, that's the cringiest thing on the planet. You go, all right, well, like, that's not my favorite thing, but like, I like it. It was good. You know, it's just kind of, I don't know. This is not a fully baked thought, but it's like a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't want to make TikToks. I don't want to make TikToks. It's like, dude, get over yourself. No one wants to make TikToks. You're not too fucking cool for TikTok. You're not too cool to fucking
You just have to
self-promote.
rack your brain, like you said, to find things that you're proud of doing.
Yeah.
It's still a creative medium.
It
just,
is.
The only reason that you don't like it is because what you're consuming and what you're choosing to think about are the really cringy and like spammy shit that you don't like as an artist, especially if you're not trying to make like, or if you take your music to a point of emotional seriousness, it's like makes it like deep and all that. It's like, I don't want to like dance on TikTok. Well, that's a really naive thing to think.
Yeah,
There's
dude.
a lot of things on TikTok that are not.
Look at
like
our buddy Austin Anderson.
He's going off right now.
Austin
He's
Anderson-
going crazy. He's got a new album coming out. He just announced it today.
Did he?
Spark Plug Radio out May 14th, I believe.
He makes some wacky music. It's you know, super experimental, right? Very beautiful.
Sometimes ambient.
Sometimes ambient. It's
Tape loop stuff a lot of like modular synthesis based kind of things every now and again.
He is not a fucking dance on TikTok kind of guy, but he's been doing this thing about bronchial syrup
Oh my
and how he's like
God.
addicted to bronchial syrup or some shit. It's really funny.
Yeah,
But
he's
it's like
killing it.
you watch his TikToks or you watch his Instagram and you're like, this dude makes this? Or I'm just saying, like, no one wants to make TikToks. Just figure out how to not hate it so much. Just put in the extra effort to figure out
It's just
something.
another form of self-expression, ladies and gentlemen.
It really is. It's just limited. I think people are just limited. Their imagination is limited to what they've seen on TikTok or what they've seen on Instagram.
It's also just the pressure is to capture lightning in a bottle. Like, what can I do that'll blow up? It's like you just can't think about it like that.
You can't.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're thinking, what can I do to blow up? You're just going to be either making something subpar that's a copy of something that already blew up, or...
I'll tell you what you can do to blow up. Talk about duendes, ladies and gentlemen. The
Talk about what?
duendes,
The fuck is
Mexican leprechauns. Did you?
Oh.
Yeah, it's a bunch of people in the comments are talking about duendes.
Is that how you say that?
Yeah. Anywho,
Yeah, man. So I think overall, I agree with what James Blake is trying to do. I think Vault.fm is pretty buggy right now. We'll see if it goes well. I have this, like I said, I have the sneaking suspicion that Spotify is going to just add it as a feature. You're saying they won't. And for the same reason that you're saying they won't, I say they will, is because I think they're going to want to capture the market, but then diminish the capabilities of it so that they can still get their cut. You know? We will see, man. We will see.
it's definitely interesting.
You know who's a great example of they're not independent, but they shouldn't be as fucking rich as they are.
It's the male guy. Calm down. Who?
I thought something was gonna explode. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. A great band from Australia. They're called King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They make a very wide
They
variety.
make everything.
They make everything.
They make everything that a guitar could possibly be in.
Or synthesizers.
yeah.
They make so many different kinds of music. They have like a thrash album, and then they have like an ambient fucking like beep boop bop.
So what about him, huh?
They have figured out how to be self-sufficient. they have created a culture around their music where it's about collecting vinyl. They press albums onto vinyl.
But the key to that is that they can make an album in fucking 2 weeks and put out like 7 albums a year.
That is what I was going to say. Sorry, I forgot to say this part. James Blake's whole point, it's not just James, he's reiterating what a lot of people have been saying, but the whole idea is like, we want to, not be held back by the labels saying that we can't put these songs out. We just want to be able to put the songs out that we want to put out. Well, guess what? If you create that environment where people are expecting unreleased songs, you're going to need to put out unreleased songs like every week. It's almost like creating the same monster that you're trying to fight. The whole point of like that sucks about TikTok is that you have to always be on it and always be posting and always doing X, Y, and Z. But if
why do you think that that's the expectation that would be formed by consumers?
If you pay $5 a month and you're not getting
Is that how it works? I thought you would. I thought you have to pay like per release. Is it set up like
it's
a subscription?
$5 a month.
It's a subscription.
It's a subscription, $5 a month. If you didn't
that might be what it is for James, but I think it works the same as like Patreon and OnlyFans, where you can choose what you want your subscription rate to be.
I'm 99% sure that Patreon and OnlyFans are both a monthly subscription.
They are. I'm saying, but you can pick what the price is. Like you can make it $1
okay, $5, $1, whatever it is. I'm just saying that like if you're gonna pay for a monthly thing, you better be getting
stuff
monthly.
Yeah,
and I don't know
at least monthly.
And the whole point is that James was saying, and other people have been saying, it's like no, like just focus on the art, focus on making good art. But guess what? Good art can sometimes take a really long time, and the reason people take 3 years to put out an album isn't always because the label's just like, no, we don't want you to put out an album yet. Because sometimes it takes 3 years. So it's like the same.
Some of us have fucking jobs, James Blake.
No. Not about the job. It's about just the creation of it. It takes time. Sometimes you just have to sit with something or like let it marinate. And like, I think in a world where you're subscribing purely for music, like I think you can give other forms of content, but if it's just unreleased songs, you're gonna get the same thing where you're just releasing like half-baked songs. And then what is the difference between like just releasing demos all the time and releasing fucking shitty TikToks all the time? To me, it seems like the same monster. Am I wrong?
No.
If you're going to release demos all the time, why don't you just make a TikTok of you making a fucking demo? Just put it on TikTok. Well, I guess his point is that TikTok doesn't pay.
Yeah, but...
So, I guess I'm wrong. Like, if the whole point
but that you're merging multiple points. Your original point, which I agree with, is that it doesn't fix the problem of music being able to be of a higher quality because you're getting paid well for it, because if you're going to have people subscribe to a monthly thing, you're going to need to fulfill a certain amount of extra work and extra music to keep up that repertoire so that people can keep subscribing to you and it be worth it. So, yeah, I agree with what you're saying in that it creates the same problem where then you're switching over from needing to get the numbers on streaming up because it's so undervalued to, oh, you have to fulfill the expectations of the people that are subscribing to you for money by having just tons of unreleased music constantly being updated on this platform. So creates the same issue.
I think artists just need to find, I
still like it though.
No, I do. I'm just saying it seems to me like Vault specifically, Vault is, it seems like it's music only. I didn't subscribe. I don't know. It seems like it's music only. And my whole point is, I think musicians need to stop. I know it sucks, guys. We're not just making music anymore. Get over it. Get over it. Get over it. Get over it. Unless you are huge and super rich, You have to do other things yourself, even music videos and album art and stuff like that. You still have to be the one spearheading those aspects of your artistry. Get over it. You got to remember that you're not just a guitar player anymore. You're not just a fucking songwriter. You're a lot of things, and that sucks. But guess what? It's the coolest fucking job ever. We all want it. Why are you being so arrogant and be like, yeah, I want it, but I don't want to have to do what all these other people are doing? Come on.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like that's like what you should want, though. You know what I mean? Like it should.
It's sick.
It's like
you just gotta
if
figure
you
out,
don't want to be involved with those aspects of those things, then what you want is not to be an independent artist.
Well, all those people right now who are watching this who might hear us say that, they're probably like, well, yeah, I want to do those things. I just don't want to make TikToks, which I agree. But, like, you know, it's a job, dude. You got to fucking figure it out. And you got to figure out what works for you. And even if you don't want to make TikToks, there's got to be an alternative, right? Oh, let's talk about money. There's got to be another way for people to make money. What if it's like, I don't know, you got to do like more, if you're an artist, you have a serious fan base, do more meet and greets, do more shows, you know, you got to release more vinyl. You got to release more merch. Maybe you got to get good at designing merch. Maybe it's not okay to just print a t-shirt. Maybe you have to like actually design clothes. I don't know what it is. I don't pretend. I am pretending to know the answers, but like my point is, you gotta get creative with the way you're making money. You're not able to just put out a record every 2 years and be done. It sucks, man, but it just can't happen. You know?
Sure
or yes?
I don't know what the answers are.
Yeah, me neither. I just got heated. Just got amped.
Are you gonna make a vault?
I applied. I don't know if I'm allowed. All right, I'll update you. If they come back and like you're too small, you can't have a vault, I will.
That's fucked.
I will actively be angry.
Boycott James Blake.
I will boycott. Nah, I hope to God that's not. They don't do that. But like, I could see it.
Maybe. I feel like that's not the vibe, and it's probably just because, like you said, it's just really early in the, like, development stages, I guess. I don't know. Anyway.
You got anything to add? We should wrap it up.
No. I'm good.
You good?
Yeah. Subscribe. Thanks, everybody.